All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders, the great millstone. Peace and salutation to the Akim and to the elect that are scattered throughout the four corners of this earth, pushing the truth and faith in all sincerity. Honor Brother Shemahalo from the GMS Houston camp. This lesson I'm basically going to be going into, how that, the people, man, in this life, man, in this world, bro, they burdened with a lot, man. They burdened with a lot of thoughts, burdened with, a lot of problems, trials and, tribulations, right? Not the trials and tribulations as far as, how we come into this truth. But, I mean, we suffer before the truth anyway, but it just gets, it just progressively gets worse, because you have, demons, that's messing with you, and that once you conquer those demons, you get, greater demons that come after you. But we all have Yahweh Shai in our corner, so, it's nothing, right? But these people, man, like, they burden with, having to try to, build something here, because to them, this is it. They don't know if they really believe in, if it's something after you die, right? You're going to heaven or they're going to hell, right? Which hell doesn't even exist, right? And heaven will be on here on earth, all right? The kingdom of heaven, all right, which is, for the Israelites, all right? But it's but in their minds, they're trying to make, and establish, something here, trying to leave, some wealth, for their kids and the generations down the line, and, just trying to make a mark and a name for themselves, right? Here, in whatever they do, they're striving, for fame. They're striving for, success. And, before we come into the truth, man, we burden with those things. Like, man, we gotta try to make it. I gotta try to figure this out, and I gotta, get rich, right? All of this, the big house, I gotta buy mom's a house, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. Like, you burden with trying to, be something, all right? Well, when you come into this truth, man, you realize, man, none of that matters. None of that matters. Because this place is temporary, all right? America doesn't have much longer, to exist. According to the prophecies that are written in the Bible say otherwise. Okay? So this is a big, gigantic, burning building. All right? And we running up out of it right through this word. All right, through Yahweh Shai. All right, but you got, others that's inside of that burning building, motherfuckers still sitting down and planning the next move. They sitting there like nothing is happening, because they can't see what's going on. But we see that the building is on fire. All right, and we leave all of the burden, all of that shit, man. We let that go, because we know that we don't have to worry about setting up an inheritance for our kids or having generational wealth, because all of this, man, what we seeking is, all of this is already planned out and set up for us through Yahweh Shai, right? The kingdom of heaven. All right, we're going to get all of that. We don't got to plan that. The Lord already planned that out already. All we got to do is, man, is push this word and endure to the end, man. Follow the scripture to the best of our ability. Okay? But this is Matthew 11:28. It says, "Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." Okay? And let's look at it in the NLT. Let's read all the verses in the KJV, and I'm going to read them in the NLT, right? It says, "Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you, and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, and ye shall find rest unto your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." Okay? So now let's look at this in the NLT. It says, "Then Yahweh Shai said, Come to me, all ye who are weary and carry heavy burdens, and I will give you rest." Right? So like I said, before this truth, man, we, brothers probably, dealing with a lot, had a lot of their minds, stressing, about, what they're going to do in the future, or, just all of this, right? Oh, man, I got to put my kids through college. Where I'm going to get the money from, whatever. Or, you might got, sickly parents, and, before the truth, you're like, man, parents, man, they're gonna die, and you pretty much want to keep them here, all right, and you don't want them to go, but when it's truth, man, you get to understand that, man, death is nothing, Let me turn this off, and death is nothing, man, because you're not really dying. The spirit remains alive and goes back into the Father. Okay, so like your understanding changes when you come into this truth, and you receive comfort. All right, you receive that rest. Right? What's that? This is 2 Thessalonians 1, I believe. So all you who are troubled, rest with us. Okay, so we find rest and comfort, right, in these scriptures, in the Yahushua, which is the word. All right. It says, take my yoke upon you. Let me teach you, because I am humble and gentle at heart, and you will find rest for your souls. Right? This yoke is basically this truth. All right. This business of the Lord that we have took upon. All right. This is his yoke, and it's not a heavy yoke. All right. Because the instructions, that he's given us, right? And what we got to do to be saved is simple, right? It's not any complicated steps, right? You don't need any money. You don't got to be rich. You don't got to be famous. You don't got to none of that. All right, all you need is you, right, and your faith. Okay, and everything else will grow from that. All right. And it says, for my yoke is easy to bear, and the burden I give you is light. You see, so it's light compared to what these people got to worry about. I'd rather deal with this and have this knowledge than to be in the mindset, of these motherfuckers here, man. These motherfuckers is going crazy, right? Even in the current time, motherfuckers, see, what's happening to America. They see the condition of this place, of the economy. Motherfuckers is stressing. All right, but we in this truth, man, and you got this knowledge, we ain't stressing. Because we knew that this was going to happen. We knew that, that this place was going to fall. And we are seeing that. These are the prophecies. We prophets, right? We get into these prophecies and we measure the time and we see these things. All right. And when these things are happening in the planet Earth, okay, yeah, the scripture said that. But they don't know that, though. So they bugging out. Okay, so we're in a good position. Okay, don't matter what you see going on. No matter, you might have people, they doing successful. They got great jobs, and this and that. And you probably wish, oh man, I wish I can be like that. Man, fuck all that, bro, because that's temporary. Now I'm not saying like you can get, be in a better position or get a better job and all of that. Yeah, man, do that. Because that's going to help you out, and if you got a family, that's going to help them out too. But, like, if you don't have the ability to do that, don't stress it, all right, man? Because, man, all that is temporary, man. We gonna have way more than what this world could offer us, all right? All of it's going to be worth it in the end, just like it says in the Lord's Prayer, man. You just got to get your daily bread, man. And have a roof over your head, having food and raiment, and being content. So Paul went into that, man. You got to be content with what you got. All right. It's not saying you don't strive for better. You can have that, but but if not, if those things don't happen, man, just be content with what you got. All right. Hebrews 11 and 13. All right. These are all going into basically, the men, our forefathers that had faith. How the Most High came through for them. How the Most High dealt with them. All right, this is Hebrews 11 to 13. These all died in faith, not having received the promises, but having seen them afar off, and were persuaded of them. Right, that's that faith. That's what faith means, right? They said not having received the promises, but seen them far off, right? Because faith is the evidence of things not seen. When you read Hebrews 11:1, it says, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. All right, so you don't see it, but you believe that it will happen. Okay? But it says, and were persuaded of them and embraced them and confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims on the earth. So we are strangers and pilgrims here. All right? The same mindset that our forefathers and toward the promises, we got to be like that as well. Because we know what's coming. We know what the kingdom of heaven, entails, to a certain extent, right? But we know that we're going to be, what they say, highly blessed and highly favored, whatever they say, bro. You know how, these women be blessed and highly favored, right? That's going to be us, okay? And we know that, our true homeland, is the land of Israel, all right? And we just here, serving, captivity, okay? And this is not the end all be all. So we shouldn't have the mindset of trying to be established, and, being here for many years to come. No. All right. The scripture speak about hastening the day. It says, for they that say such things declare plainly that they seek, a country. Okay. And we desire the kingdom of heaven. Okay. It says, and truly, if they had been mindful of that country from which they came out, they might have had opportunity to have returned. It says, but now they desire a better country that is in heavenly, wherefore the Most High is not ashamed to be called their power, for he had prepared for them a city. And this is what we want. This is where we're going to be successful. This is when we will thrive, right? For generations, for eternity. All right? This is what we want. Because here, all of what Esau's offering and what Israel is offering is a bad fucking deal. All right? It's a shitty deal. Okay? With the way that the world is right now, bro, just put your trust in Yahweh Shah, man. Put your trust in Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah, man. Wait on the kingdom. So, man, ain't no glory here. Ain't no success here. Hey, man, these people are done. Okay? These people are done. They're empty. Speaking on our people, first and foremost, because you don't have the Lord, man. What is it? If you got all of these riches, or you well off in a society, all right? Your woman don't love you, stepping out on you. Your kids, you probably just being disobedient, right? This is a wicked society. You probably got a child that's a part of the alphabet community, right? And you can go all day, man. You can go all day about this stuff, bro. It's like it's not no kingdom. It's not no place to be wanting to be successful in all of that, man. If you got a good job, right? You got a business, whatever. That's cool, but we still got to have that mind state. Being those strangers and pilgrims. Okay. Hebrews 13 and 14. For here we have no continuous city, but we seek one to come. See, so we seek the kingdom. All right, because this place is played out. This is through. All right. And the book of 1 John speaks about it, the whole world lies in wickedness. All right. So us following after righteousness, you can't thrive in a wicked place. Okay. This is no place, for the righteous. Okay, so that's why, we are constantly vexed, like Lot was in Sodom and Gomorrah. This is the modern day Sodom and Gomorrah, right? Spiritually, as it says in the book of Revelation 11 and 8. All right, but this is Romans 13:11, and that knowing the time, that now it is high time to wake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believe. Okay, so our salvation is nearer than when we believe. So we close to getting up out of here. All right. So, man, it's just, hey, do what you got to do, man, to get by, right? And, take care of your business in this world, right? But know that at any time, this shit can be over with. All right? So don't have the mindset of forever. Okay? So, hey, hope this lesson was edifying. With that, I'm going to say shalom.